hi to the peoples. Come on, Jade. Here's your hat. Okay. That was Jade. She wants to sit beside me, but she doesn't really want to be on camera. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am Sabrina. I am a witch. If you're returning, thank you for returning. Believe it or not, I'm making a video late this morning on Wednesday morning, the 20th, after I made my birthday, my video about turning 63 yesterday, and finally finishing it and uploading it at midnight. And I woke up at 7:45. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Exercise is so beneficial. I sleep better. I don't stay in bed till 9:30 or 10:30 in the morning anymore. I don't need to sleep 11 hours. I'm sleeping 8 hours. It's amazing. So while I was sitting on the sofa having my morning coffee, thinking about my dreams, it occurred to me that I should talk about what it's like to live with a number 7 personality person. And this is someone who has a birth date that adds up and reduces to a 7. Now, along with getting an astrological chart done to see things in your life, as well as the people that you live with and your children to help understand them, a numerology report or reading can also be very insightful, and in some cases even more helpful and quicker and easier to gather insights and information on you or somebody else. Now, if you or someone you live with was born on the 7th, the 16th, or the 25th, they are a number 7 person. And if it's you, you are a number 7. I recently stated that I am a number 1. I was born on the 19th. Now, this was channeled to me many years ago, and it was a clue to what I was going to be doing in the future. This is not just a complete understanding of a person. Of course, we have many parts. We are like a puzzle with many pieces. But sometimes just understanding the energy of a person's birth date number can help you get more insight into something that might be a little bit baffling about why they are the way they are, certain things that they do. Now, I'm going to talk about the similarities, but the major differences between this number 7 person and other types of personalities, such as the number 1, or somebody else who has a tendency to want to be an isolationist. Number 7 is not necessarily an isolationist, but they are what's called the true loners. What that means is that they are not totally uncomfortable spending time alone. They need alone time and they enjoy it. They're introspective, maybe interpersonal. The examples I'm going to give are my sister and my ex. Now, my sister was born on the 16th, and for celebrity reference, I know Madonna was born on the 16th. Now, we don't know her, but I'm sure she enjoys her alone time. That doesn't mean somebody wants to be totally alone, but they do enjoy their alone time. Now, growing up with my sister, she used to spend time in her bedroom quite a lot, and for a young person of 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that seems unusual. And I used to knock on her door and say, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm reading, or I'm coloring, or putting together a puzzle." I said, "Well, why don't you come in my bedroom? You want to do it with me, or just come to my bedroom and do it in there?" And sometimes she'd say yes, but sometimes she'd say no. I'm fine in my bedroom. And I never really understood that. Now, it wasn't major. It wasn't constant. she was a very active person. She's a Leo. She's extremely energetic and she likes to be very active. And so she played a lot, inside and outside, like I did, like a normal child. But she just had those periods almost every day where she just needed her alone time. Now, this is a healthy thing that everyone should have, but these people tend to want to have it more than others, and they can be called isolationists. Now, as my sister got older, she went from childhood to adulthood. I'm sorry, she might break the mirror. Don't play there. Don't play there. Oh, sorry. As my sister became older and a teenager, she enjoyed dating. She was a Leo. She was very sociable. And I didn't live with her when she became a young adult. She lived alone. Now, she dated a lot, and she was looking to get a partner. And she did end up getting married in her mid-20s. That didn't work out. So then she was alone again. And she put herself in a bedroom in an older woman's house to try to really gain some insight into herself and her life. And she actually began to open up big time. Her intuition really developed. And she started having spirits make themselves known that were in the house. And they'd play with the microwave. And she would talk to the spirit. But she pushed all that aside, and she ended up marrying another man who had the same problems as her first husband. And this was an addiction-related matter. But she would say, no, I'm ready to venture out again and live with someone. Now, I didn't really agree with that as her older sister. I did not see it. I did not feel it. And she had an attachment with her Al-Anon sponsor. So when she got engaged and then she got married, she came out to visit me. And I could see right away the issues with her husband. But, she had to go through that. We have to go through stuff. She was afraid to be alone, so her desire to be alone, not all day, every day, was actually trying to teach her there's nothing wrong with being alone. Now, my mother was an isolationist because she had a nervous disorder. And another celebrity reference would be Johnny Depp. He is not a number 7 person. I believe he's born... I can't remember now, but he does like to isolate. He needs to because of his childhood abuse. It's caused him, I think, something of a nervous disorder, and is similar to my mother in that she developed a chemical dependency. That's different. I remember my mother being much more active, putzing around the house, even in her robe. Now, she did not go out in the world much. She didn't really like going out in the world much. She played music with my father, like in a nightclub part-time. And there were times when she did have to isolate. But for me, it was few and far between, either when she was completely worn out or she had had an operation. But my sister seems to remember my mother not being out much, but in the bedroom. Now, she was younger than me, so perception is everything. Now, being a Leo, she wanted a lot of attention. And so not being able to get it as much as she wanted. See, when you're a child, some people just you can't possibly give them as much attention as they want or they need. I was fine. It didn't bother me. I did notice as I got older and I became a teenager, that my mom was constantly in her bedroom. And I didn't really understand totally, except that I knew she had been abused as a child. Now, going through her marriage, her second marriage, My sister realized after about 9 years that she couldn't do it much longer. And after about 9.5, almost 10 years really, she told me that she just couldn't do it anymore and that she's just decided she needs to be alone. And she would say, I'm too much like Mom. I'm so much like Mom, it's scary. Well, not really. I think I've talked about this before. She's just a number 7. Her similarities to Mom are similar, but they are different. Mom's need to isolate was for different reasons. My sister's personality and from her birth date number actually makes her a person who can be alone for more periods of the time throughout the house. It's not about locking yourself in the bedroom. It's just being alone in your space. And she did live alone in her own apartments for a while before she first got married. I think she was 25, maybe 27. So that's the difference there. Now, after that marriage, she told me she decided she was perfectly okay with being alone. So, see, we sometimes have to go through what our biggest fear is in order to overcome it and say, you know what? I am me, this is who I am, and I'm just going to be alone for a while. Now, I'm a number 1 person. Don't really like to be alone. I have 2 cats. My sister's an animal lover as well. She's not totally alone. She's got a dog and 2 cats. So, but as far as dealing with living with another human being, it's not something that she wants to really do. She might have a roommate in her house now, I don't know. But I don't think she wants to get married again. Now, I'm not opposed to getting married again, but I have to honor what it is that is happening in my life and the things that I'm being led to actually do. Number 1 is kind of a teacher spirit, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now let's go on to my ex, who was born on the 25th. Now, he's a different person. He's a male. He's from a different culture, different time, a different place. And he's not a Leo. He's a Pisces. So he's much more quiet and introspective. And it used to really bother me that he really didn't want to go out and go places or do any types of physical activities with me and the kids. But also when we were at home, it seemed like he was just more of a confirmed bachelor. But it was also that he was a number 7. And he was just totally fine being alone in the living room. No kids, no wife. It was okay when we were there and we were watching a TV show together. And he enjoyed having his children and his family. But there was just things about him that were very loner type of things, where he would go out and rake the leaves by himself. And he preferred it that way. Once in a while, I would, encourage him to let the kids come out and play in the leaves with him. And I'd go out there too. But then, he would just go out and work in the yard, or he'd go out and mow the lawn. So yeah, there was things that he would just do for a long time and would not really explain or tell us what he was doing. Sometimes he'd say, I'm going out to do that. So in thinking about my sister's marriage, I could see where when she came home from work, she would just putz around the house. She'd be in the house. And her husband liked to go outside. And I remember one time he asked, I was there, and I think he mentioned, can you come outside? And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So that's an example of how he wanted to be outside and she was inside. So she was having her alone time and having her space with him outside. There were times when she would go out later and then she would sit outside and enjoy the beautiful stars, and they had a nice backyard, and they had a big tree, the hummingbirds. But I just noticed that she was perfectly okay with him being outside. And I'd say, don't you want to go out there and be with him? She said, no, I'm fine. She'd do laundry or whatever, and that was her alone time. So, Gene, are you mad at me? What's going on? No, I can't play with you right now. Now, with my ex, there was him going outside while I was inside. And yeah, just him kind of being in the living room alone. And then, of course, we were like two ships who passed in the night for a while, where he was off doing his work from 3 to midnight. And he didn't really want to work as a team partner in the parenting. So, you know, there was other things in there that were difficult for me to deal with in a marriage. So those are some of the examples of the number 7 person who is comfortable being alone and going off and doing their own thing. And it can be frustrating. But if you can understand that you cannot change that person, you know, this is a part of who they are. Aside from their life path number, this is a part of who they are. And this personality is the birth date number and how they express themselves in the world. It can help you either accept a situation or decide whether or not, you know, it's been difficult for you to deal with or accept for so many years that you have to make a decision. Now, for me, I'm a number 1 person, and that is not a loner. It's more of an individual, you know. A number 1 person would be someone who likes to take initiative, who likes to be out front, who likes to be a leader, and has an entrepreneurial spirit. Now, they can also be very spiritual, and there are times when I like to isolate so that I can work at my altar or write down what it is that I'm studying or has been coming to my mind. And as my children got older and became teenagers, they would complain that I seemed to be in the bedroom a lot. But I spent most of my time with the children. And so, yeah, perception is everything. Just because someone's in the bedroom for a little while doesn't mean that they're a loner and are an isolationist. Everyone needs a little alone time. But it is a little bit more prominent with these number 7 birth date numbers. So now if you want to get more information into what your personality number is and how it goes along with your life path number, because they do go together, then I am offering numerology reports on my Etsy shop, Astarte Apothecary. And you'll see it when you go there. There's a picture of different colored numbers. And your birth date number is also your lucky number. And I will explain in your report ways that you can use it that can help to increase the odds in your favor. So that is it for the number 7 person. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.